Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today I'm going to be doing my to pull or not to pull on the new Final Fantasy VI Crossover banner for Tifa. I'm going to be going over a lot of different weapons and costumes, just kind of comparing this to what's already out there, and just basically giving you guys my overall thoughts on this banner, which to me was very unexpected. Now, if you guys hear a little bit of rain in the background, it is dumping outside, so I apologize about that, but there is not much that I can also do about that at the same time. Alright, so that being said, let's go over to this draw, and we're going to just check it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check out the costume. Now, like I said before in my patch overview video, I don't hate it as much as I know some people do. I know that some people really dislike this costume, but I honestly think it's chill. She looks, casual, laid back. She looks like she could, handle herself right now in a fight. She's got like the baggy sweatpants on. She's got the kind of cool shoes. I don't know what these are right there. Those little those little boxes on her hip. I don't know if those make sense, but she's got the light blue tank top, and I do like the weapon. I think the weapon looks sick. I like that metallic kind of fiery orange color, and it just looks badass. I think the weapon looks badass. The costume could be better, but it's not the worst. It's Tifa that's rocking it at the end of the day, so she's going to basically look good in basically almost anything you give her. I mean, even Aerith looks amazing in the whole Chocobo costume, right? So if Aerith can pull that, Tifa can pull this. Alright, now that being said, let's take a look at the actual animation here, which is one of the sickest things about this weapon, right, is the animation. Alright, and there you have it. Pretty sick. It did not look like an AoE attack when I first saw this. I was not expecting this to be an AoE focused weapon, and I think that this kind of caught a lot of people off guard. Essentially, the Sabin's claws are like Tifa's version of the Bahamut Greatsword, so it does a flat amount of damage, AoE, to the enemies. However, it is missing that haste. It does have different R abilities, so we're just going to be like slowly kind of going over everything. I'm going to start with the costume because there are a lot of other costumes for Tifa. Now, this one has the physical and magic ward, which I think is great on any costume. Physical and magic defense plus 15% is just super solid to have, but I think that's just about it on this costume. We also have physical ability mastery here, which takes it to plus 15%, so it is good. Now, I'm going to quickly jump over. I don't have the cowgirl costume. I didn't pull for that one, or actually, did I? I think I did. I think I actually do have that costume. I think I just literally never use it. I can't remember. Alright, so let's go to co-op, and let's go find Tifa, wherever she is. Tifa. There she is. I don't think I do have the cowgirl costume. I honestly think I don't. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that's right. I took the Hellhound costume over it. But now that we're here, let's check out the Amarant's guise, right? This is going to be the first costume that it's really comparable to. It also has physical ability potency on here. I believe that they are the same, 15 points for the 30%. This one also comes with HP. HP can be super handy, but also the physical defense can also be super handy as well. So if you don't have the Amarant's guise, this is probably the next best bet. Now I'm going to jump over to the guide uniform over here. This one gives boost physical attack plus 10 points and boost physical ability mastery plus 10, which I believe is the same. Oh, this one's not physical ability mastery. This is just physical ability potency. So the cowgirl one is better, I would say, than the Amarant's costume. And if we go here and check out her costume, all right, this one is also physical ability mastery. So you would be comparing this to the cowgirl costume. I would say that this one is actually better. The thing about Tifa is that she doesn't really have that many physical options in her kit as compared to her magic aspect of it. This could be a inclination that Tifa will be leaning more into physical damage in the future, and I think that there's the possibility that Cloud kind of shifts over into magic, so there is always that, boon and possibility for having this costume. But to me, as a new limited costume, as something that just dropped right here and now in the game, it's just not as alluring as I think we would want it to be, right? There are a lot of other options that she can use, right? And so That's going to basically cover it for the costume. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weapon, right? Now before we take a look at the weapon, let's go over and let's take a look at Cloud's Bahamut Greatsword. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. We'll go to Cloud. All right, and we're going to take a look at the Bahamut Greatsword. I'm just going to look at this at, well, actually at OB9, which would be this basically the same stats as OB6. You know, this is probably essentially exactly the same, except for the fact that this gives haste, and the other difference is the R abilities here. So this gives boost physical attack to all allies, which TIFA'S does not have, and this also gives boost physical ability potency, which TIFA'S does not have as well. Alright, so this is essentially what we are looking for, and I will say, guys, like, I'm just gonna, you know, kind of preface this, is that I think that for most people that have Cloud's Bahamut Greatsword, you know, at OB6 or higher, I think that this is a pretty easy skip, this banner. However, if you're one of those players that happen to miss the Cloud Bahamut Greatsword, that weapon is really great, has been awesome for cheesing, you know, a lot more fights than I thought it would since it came out, you know, so I was wrong on that account. And honestly, it's an amazing weapon for farming. It's so good for farming. It's so fast. You can take out Cactuars. It's one of my favorite things about it. So I think that really this banner should only, you know, realistically, I think, you know, for newer players or players that missed the Bahamut Greatsword, this is something worth considering. And then I think that for those of you that do have the Bahamut Greatsword, you know, there's the chance that having two of these weapons in a team is going to make for some pretty easy boss fights in the future. But, you know, who's to say if they're going to give us content that's going to be kind of cheesable in that way? I'm guessing there will be at least one thing, but more, I'm not really sure. I feel like they don't want to give, you know, two of these flat damage weapons out and just have them, like, go on a mayhem wrecking spree. So for me, it's not quite as enticing. I have the Bahamut Greatsword already at OB9, and so that's basically my overall thoughts on this. But that being said, let's take a look at the actual weapon itself. The main difference here between the Sabin's Claws and the Bahamut Greatsword are the R abilities and the lack of haste. Now, where this weapon lacks haste, it brings a physical magic attack buff to self that actually can go high. However, it will always take 2 casts to go high, okay? And it will, and it's not going to have haste, right? So it does have a pro and a con, right? It has the physical magic attack buff. It doesn't have the same R abilities. You're essentially getting the same R abilities on this weapon as you would on the Ivy Collar or the Ultimatic, right? So 62 attack over 39 boost ability potency, but since those exact R abilities can be found on weapons that can be wish listed and slowly built over time, I won't really say like it's anything out of left field. It's not crazy. It's definitely better than Cloud's R abilities. I'm surprised Cloud didn't get the same kind of 62 over 39 on his own weapon. I feel like Cloud's would have been great to have 62 over 39 attack over buff debuff duration on that weapon, but it is what it is. You can't get the best of both worlds. But here we have the weapon at base 5-star, 281 physical attack. Like I said, keep in mind, Tifa is not as focused on physical attack as she is on magic. Is definitely her strong suit. So it is what it is. It just depends. A lot of this weapon depends on the future, and that's something that we don't know. We can only guess about, right, at the end of the day. So this weapon deals 430% physical non-elemental damage. It increases physical magic attack low to mid at base 5-star, right? But you have to take into consideration the Amarant's Claws also raise her physical attack, and her Bahamut Claws also raise her magic attack in a more efficient way than this weapon. And, you know, if you don't have the Amarant's Claws and you don't have the Bahamut's Claws, this is definitely going to be a good way to catch up. A lot of this crossover feels like it could be easy ways for newer players to catch up into the game, which I think is great. I do think it's great. And for all of the newer players that are out there, you know, if you're psyched on it, I'm psyched for you. But for me personally, having the Amarant's Claws, having Bahamut's Claws, you know, I just don't see as much of an appeal for it. And the lack of haste is such a cool thing about the Bahamut Greatsword. It really gives it more of a viability, I think, for certain fights than other weapons. It gives it that little bit of an edge, and I think that the edge on this weapon is maybe just a little duller than the Bahamut Greatsword, right? Not to say it's not a good weapon, it is a good weapon, absolutely. We have support abilities, physical attack boost, magic attack boost. I don't know exactly why you would have that on there. And X sigil boost there. Now let's take a look at the weapon at OB6. Jumps to 618 physical attack, deals 670% physical non-elemental damage. Physical attack low to high, and it's going to be the same at OB10. Magic attack low to high, so it's always going to take 2 casts, which we're never really going to want to do on a main DPS, right? And then when HP is 50% or more, deals 30,000 additional non-elemental physical damage. Now, I don't believe that the Bahamut Greatsword has that stipulation on it where you have to be over 50% HP. So let's go here. We'll find Tifa. Or no, wait, we're going to find Cloud. All right, and we're going to take a look at the Bahamut Greatsword. I'm almost positive it does not have that stipulation. Oh, it does have the same stipulation. All right, so that's exactly the same. You don't need to dock points on the weapon for that. It is exactly the same, and I have not had that actually be a problem for me with the Bahamut Greatsword, so I think that's a good note there, that that's not something worse added on. Alright, so we were at OB6, so that'll do the extra 30,000 damage, which is what my Bahamut Greatsword currently does, an extra 30,000 damage, which has been fantastic and more than enough so far for a lot of fights. Now the R abilities at OB6, level 120, boost attack 54, so super solid, boost ability potency 27, also very good, and then if we take it to OB10, it'll have 674 physical attack, 800% physical non-elemental damage, 40,000 added on the flat damage, and it will still go low to high on the physical magic attack. The duration is 30 seconds with an extension of 10 seconds right there. So yeah, if we look at the R abilities, boost attack 62 over 39, exactly what I said for Ivy Collar and Ultimatic. All in all, definitely a good weapon, definitely a strong weapon. But if you have things like the Amaranth's Claws, the Cowgirl outfit, you know, the Bahamut Claws, and you have these weapons and they're decently built, I just feel like this weapon does not have as much appeal as it would to someone who does not have those options. And so essentially that's my advice for you guys here today. We don't really know what's on the horizon after this crossover. You know, I think that we'll probably get something for Black Friday, and then we're definitely going to have something for Christmas time, which is going to be fun. I'm guessing that, my guess is that Cloud gets a single featured banner once a year on Christmas. He got one last year on Christmas or on New Year's. Literally, New Year's Eve is my birthday. He got it on my birthday. So we'll just have to see what happens at that point. Either way, at the end of the day, guys, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this weapon. Were you as surprised as I was to see this drop into the game? Are you psyched on it? Are you pulling for it? Do you think it's an easy skip? Either way, I'm happy to hear your guys' opinions. And on that note, I think I'm going to bring this video to a close. So if you guys did enjoy this video today, if it was helpful in kind of learning more about this weapon, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.